Good evening, Tottenham fans. Welcome to another episode of YouTubers React, where I get other YouTubers from the Tottenham world to give me their views on today's match. Now, is this Frank's last game? Is this the end for Thomas Frank? Or is he going to lose the game on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it is, against Aston Villa? And is that the day that Thomas Frank finally leaves this club? It's very harsh to say that if you took this game just as a singularity game, as Spurs probably deserved to win this game. They had some very good chances towards the end to win it, but Bournemouth went up the other end and gave Semenyo his fairy tale ending. If you've got a piss poor team, if you need some points, if you need to get your team off a losing streak, just call Dr. Tottenham. They will sort you out. It seems to happen every bloody time with this club. Anytime you need something, Tottenham delivers, and it's just becoming a joke now, a literal joke between all the Spurs community and every other community. It's just a shame that, Spurs come out with another defeat. I think we're 14th in the league now. Frank keeps going on about us being 17th last season. Well, you're not doing too much better yourself, mate. On top of that, we've got 2 more injuries to midfield players as well, which really doesn't help because our midfield is already missing Papa Sarr. And Kudos has gone off injured for a couple of months too. So injury crisis galore for Spurs yet again as well, to add to the misery to the Spurs fans. But I just want to give one shining light if we can, because I don't want to say everything negative. And that was Matisse Tell. Now, a lot of people said we need to send him out on loan. I myself said it might have benefited from it because I didn't think Frank fancied him too much. But I think Matisse Tell put in a very solid performance. Let me just read out some stats from Tell today. 3 chances created, 5 out of 7 dribbles completed, 6 ball recoveries, 11 out of 14 ground duels won, 11 out of 14 ground duels won. And he obviously scored that decent goal as well. So Tell put in a very good performance, and that's his 3rd goal of the season as well, with really minimal minutes. So I think we need to big him up today, and that's the one shining light I can take from this game. Another defeat, and I just think Frank is walking on thin ice massively. Now, first up, I've got Dan, the Danalyst. This is what Dan had to say about the game today.
Yes, guys, welcome back to my match reaction. Please subscribe to Alan, Tottenham Logic, and all the other content creators involved in the video. It ends in Bournemouth 3, Tottenham 2. Now, depends how you want to look at this one. You know, I'm sure some fans will think, well, Spurs battled back and nearly scraped a draw. Or you can look at it as the, Dr. Tottenham, Spursy. Yeah, Tottenham, typical Tottenham. Bournemouth not won in 11 games. And, Spurs turn up. And, Bournemouth get their first win in 12. And it's just so predictable, isn't it? Just Frank and his football, we all saw it. It's just free kicks, long balls, punts. Good couple of goals, though, I've got to say. Tell, great finish. Paulinho, great bicycle kick. But it's desperate, isn't it? It's desperate football from Spurs. Bournemouth, they're not having a great time, are they? But they at home managed to battle back against Spurs, and Semenyo, before his move to City, gets the winning goal. It's just so predictable, isn't it, guys? Like, when we equalised 2-2, when Richarlison came on, helped, didn't he? Changed the game a bit for Spurs, much better than Moani. It was just crosses into the box, headers. It was a great save from Bournemouth keeper. And you're kind of thinking, well, maybe we'll go on and win this game. But no, we don't deserve things like that, Spurs fans, right now. We don't deserve anything. The football is just diabolical under Thomas Frank. We're sitting 14th in the league. And yeah, it's just horrible. It's just nothing gives me any kind of belief that things will get better in the short term under Thomas Frank. I'm not too sure how long it will last. There's going to be so much anger after yet another defeat. And, you know, the game on Saturday against Aston Villa is going to be very telling. If we lose that game and we get knocked out of the FA Cup, I don't know if Frank can still keep in the job. You know, they're not spent any money in the January transfer window yet, which, you know, trying to understand what's going on there. Maybe they're kind of weighing up their options. Maybe they're not spending the money on Frank because maybe they're just seeing how the next couple of results play out. Maybe they're thinking of changing him. I don't know, guys. It's just we lose that game on Saturday. It's just shocking. It's shocking. It's a terrible season, guys. You know, some of you want to hang in there with Frank still, give him the season, or you've had enough now? Do you want him gone? You know, you probably can tell what I want. I wanted it gone after that Fulham match, to be honest. It's just the football is just dreadful. Thomas Frank does not help himself. What he comes out and says in the press as well. I think I even saw pictures tonight. He was holding an Arsenal cup. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. But look, I'm not surprised with the defeat, and that's it. So, guys, leave us your thoughts, drop us your comments, smash the like button. Yeah, and just another defeat. So predictable, isn't it? Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dan, mate. Yeah, it's always hard to do these videos when Spurs have lost yet again. And I just realised something. Bournemouth have done a double over us. We've had a piss poor season. They're below us in the table, and they've still done a double over us. That just shows you how poor we have been this season. Anyway, next up, I have a debut for Jim from OSO Spurs. You might know him. He's got his own channel on YouTube as well. Anybody that's been on today, I will pin their link to their channels in the comment section. So please go down and subscribe to everyone that's been on here today. This is what Jim had to say.
Jim here from OSO Spurs. What to say? It just feels so tepid at Tottenham at the moment. The whole soul of the club just doesn't feel like it's there. And I don't know if it's because of all the changes lately. You know, there's so much of Tottenham was Tottenham that's now gone. Like him or loathe him, Daniel Levy was a massive part of Spurs. He was Spurs in the Premier League era. He's gone. The old White Hart Lane's gone. And those things aren't necessarily wrong. You know, we had to move ground. We had to upgrade. We had to make a change at the top. But then the last thing left was Tottenham's DNA, what we're all about, which is attacking football, you know, going out with an echo of glory and all those kind of things. They're cheesy, they're true. And we've always been the entertainers. But now we're on the wrong side of the entertainment every single time. It feels like that's because we used to be the team that risked it all to win a game. We're now the team that's the victim of that. And today Bournemouth showed that. We got to 2-2, and instead of doing the Tottenham thing, which is let's risk losing it to try and win it, we were the team who said, let's not risk losing it. Let's just take our foot off the gas here. Maybe we'll get lucky with a goal from a set piece or something, but let's not risk too much. But then Bournemouth take the Tottenham approach. They risk everything to win it, and it comes off with a magic goal. Those moments that Spurs are so famous for, the flicks, free kicks, the Rabonas, all those amazing goals we've scored over our history that we seem to every season. Sonny's running across through the whole pitch. Just all these things, they just don't happen anymore because we're not doing that anymore this season. But there's not saying get rid of Thomas Frank because what's the point? And we're not going to anyway. He's going to be here to the end of the season, so all we can do really is back him and the players and hope things turn around. But it's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. And this is where you earn your stripes as a fan, really. You got to dig deep. I'm going to keep going to these games. And when things do turn around, because they will, it'll feel better because, you know, you only truly appreciate the good when you've been through the bad, but it is a tough patch. But anyway, come on, you Spurs.
Thanks there, Jim. A little bit of positivity towards the end. He thinks things will turn around for the better. I really hope you're right, mate, because at the moment it's pretty dire. I suppose it probably couldn't get any worse, to be fair. Thanks for that, Jim. And as usual, people, please subscribe to his channel. Now, next up, I have Luke from Spotlight on Spurs, and this is what Luke had to say.
What's up, guys? Luke here from Spotlight on Spurs. Big shout out to Alan for asking me to come on again and give my opinions yet again on a disgraceful and terrible performance, a loss against a team that hadn't won in 11 Premier League games. It was written in the stars for Semenyo to score the winner, but I don't know what we do from here. I generally don't know what we do. There are so many problems at this football club, and it all needs to change very, very quickly. I don't see an outstanding candidate out there, but I don't see how Frank stays in a job for too long. I just can't see it. I just think that too much has happened, too much is happening, and nothing's consistent, nothing's getting better. We're making silly mistakes. We're supposed to be defensively solid. He was supposed to make sure that was going to happen. Conceded 3 today at Bournemouth. Just a really, really poor performance yet again. Leeds are currently 4 points off of Spurs. So I agree that we need to get better players, but we should be getting better out of the players that we currently have, and that's not happening. So that needs to change ASAP, and the board need to make sure they go out and sign players that are better than who we currently have, which isn't hard. But forget about whether it's back in Frank or whoever it's back in. We need better players at this football club, and the board need to go and make sure they do that. That's it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe to everyone on the video. Last thing as always, come on you Spurs.
And very true what Luke's saying. Cheers for that, mate. Yeah, we definitely need better players. I remember in the first half shouting at the TV because the amount of misplaced passes we were doing again. I kept shouting, it's so simple. Why are you not making a simple pass? And, you know, even when they're trying to do the safe passes, they're still going to the wrong player. So it really baffles me. And yeah, I'll go on to the next one because otherwise I'll be talking all night about it. So next up is Nigel from Pure Coys, and this is what Nigel had to say.
Hey Alan, Nigel from Pure Coys TV. Another defeat. I've got to be honest, this one stung a little bit as well because I thought we deserved more from the game. Really good start. I thought for the first 20 minutes Tottenham played well, and Tell scored a really good goal to put us 1-1. And I'm liking Tell. He is direct. He tries to make things happen. Doesn't always work, but I thought Tell was bright tonight and a really good goal. And I thought for the first 20 minutes Spurs played really well, but as soon as we conceded, I thought we fell apart. Both goals for me were avoidable. 2 crosses that should have been stopped at source were not, and 2 goals. And it wasn't really until the Van der Ven penalty that wasn't given in the end, of course VAR will overturn it, right? It wasn't until that moment actually Spurs started to play for me. And as soon as that happened, we saw a lease of life from Tottenham and a bit of fight and a bit of desire, a bit of passion. As far as the penalty goes, you know what? I think if Van der Ven had gone down when the tackle from behind happened, I think he may have got it. I think they were looking at the second tackle, which he kind of did orchestrate himself. But I do think it could have been given. And I do think as the ref give it, VAR should not have overturned it. But it is what it is. It happens a lot with Tottenham, doesn't it? But yeah, then I saw some fight, some passion. Polina with a brilliant overhead kick to make it 2-2. A lot of people saying they don't want Polina. Even Frank isn't sure. Crazy. He is one of our best players. But hey, what do I know? And to be honest, I thought we would go on and win it. Van der Ven unlucky. His header tipped onto the bar. Richarlison hit a post earlier when it probably was easier to score. But it didn't look like Bournemouth were going to do anything. Semenyo, who had done nothing all night, nothing, literally picks the ball up in injury time and is given the freedom of Bournemouth to shoot into the far corner. Why he wasn't closed down, I will never know. And it really stung because I don't think Spurs deserved to lose. I'll be honest. I thought it was a really good battling performance, but it ends with another defeat. And I'm not quite sure how many more defeats we can take. Frank looked forlorn at the end. Let's see what happens, guys. Smash a like for Alan at Tottenham Logic TV and all of the other creators as well, including me. Guys, have a great day. We move on. Aston Villa in the Cup at the weekend. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, Nigel, mate, and a great shout out about Paulinho actually, because I think he was one of the decent ones today. Him and Matisse Tell, brilliant overhead kick, showed a lot of passion. But again, we came away with a defeat, so all of that is for nothing, to be honest. So last but not least, I've got Harry from Harry Scarfy Spurs Talk, and this is what Harry had to say.
What's happening, people? Harry Scarfair, football content creator, YouTuber, and autism advocate. Thank you, firstly, for having me. It's such a shame to be talking about a defeat in this game. People will disagree, but I thought we played okay, at least in large parts of the game, to Bournemouth at times in the second half. Yes, they looked dangerous on the counter-attack before this. We had Bournemouth winless in 11, so of course that makes it look like not a very good result, but context is important. The last 2, 3, 4 games Bournemouth have been involved in, they've shown real spirit, real fight, been unlucky in majority, if not all, of those games. But this one's frustrating. You know, if you look at the positives, Matisse Tell again, bright spot, really nicely taken goal. Yao Paulini, a great acrobatic shot, goal, amazing, but it just felt written in the stars, didn't it, really? For Semenya to have that level of impact on the game, it just felt like a matter of time rather than if it was more when. And it was surprising it didn't took so long to happen, but of course get the winner. It did feel so fitting in what is expected to be his last game for his move to Manchester City. Thomas Frank will come under a lot of pressure after this game. I just think being trigger happy as a fan base has cost this football club so dear, going through managers, turnover really quickly. That doesn't mean that Thomas Frank's excused from criticism, doesn't mean that Frank's necessarily the right man, but I just think we've gone backwards since the 2019 Champions League final. We get greedy as a club and go, boom, this expectation straight away. And I think Frank looks shot at the moment, hand on heart. Unfortunately, I think he'll be out the job by the end of the week. I think we'll go out to the FA Cup against Villa, and the club will look at it and go, look, we can't compete in all 4 fronts. We're only left in 2, and we're only looking stable in 1 in the Champions League. That'll be enough for them to have enough credit in the bank to say, boom, let's move on. And I'm not going to sit here and say Frank's the right man for Tottenham. I just think he deserves a January window, bringing bodies. I think he deserves the rest of the season, because we're only going to go backwards, in my view, appointing someone else. I think the problems go upstairs. I think you look at the squad, it's a huge issue. We don't have the quality, we don't have the depth. We've been let down the transfer window. Son still haven't replaced to this day. No right winger that's currently fit at the club. Stolper and Johnson, great, fine. We taking money rather than losing for free or cutting a loss in a year or 2 time. Probably the right thing to do. No replacement lined up at all. Clearly, no replacement coming yet. So I'm just so angry with upstairs. But on this game, I thought it was a good one. Credit to Bournemouth, credit to Semenya. But I thought we showed real fight in the game, looked good. I think we're very unlucky at times not to get the goal. Van der Ven's penalty, thought he got rightly overturned. Credit to him, good solo run, but it's not a foul. I don't know if I call it a dive, but it's theatrical, certainly, and it's not a foul. So frustrating for Tottenham. Is another defeat. And although I do care about Thomas Frank's future, because I like the guy and I want it to work for him, the bottom line is it's another defeat. So I can understand, again, the pressure. For me, I just don't think the individual errors, the lack of marking, the lack of some concentration, turnover of possession really quickly, giving the ball away, and of course being let down by upstairs is on the manager. I think our problems lie deeper. There's a lot of cracks. Thomas Frank's been honest about them. And by the way, there was an incident as well with a cup that doesn't look very good. Bournemouth's last game was against Arsenal, so your hope is just leftover cups from the Arsenal game. Doesn't make it any better though. Having said that, it's not good. I think it's been stitched up clearly. It looks like a real image. Bear in mind, Bournemouth really hate Thomas Frank. Goes back from the Championship days, so they could have stitched him up there. It doesn't look good either way. But so frustrated after this game. But thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Harry. And if anybody knows Harry or seen any of his content before, Harry is a huge backer of Thomas Frank, and even he thinks it's not long left for Thomas Frank now. If he loses that game in the FA Cup, then he could be on the chopping block. So I want you guys in the comment section, please. Let me know if you're franking Frank out, and if you are a Frank out, is it who do you think will come in and change anything? Because we all know the problems are at the top. It doesn't matter what manager we seem to get in, it always seems to go wrong. So let me know in the comments what you think, what you thought of today's game, what you think of Thomas Frank. Thank you for watching. and come on, you Spurs.